Many a buttons to be pushed.
Let me start. Let me push a button here on my end as well. I also just posted recording a new episode in a few minutes. Do you have any quick ideas that you want me to include in the show? Somebody already posted some snarky remarks.
Wait, you got snarky remarks on Twitter? Stop.
That doesn't happen.
That seems implausible to me.
This podcast is a member of the Red 5 Network. For more Red 5 Network podcasts and content creators, visit bio.link/Red5.
Well, everybody, Happy New Year. It is 2024 here at the Scuttlebutt podcast. Remember to deploy the garrison because we are ready to have some fun. I've got Dave from What Does Star Wars Mean to You? And let me tell you, pal, Star Wars means a lot to me. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be like one of the first shows of the year.
Yes, absolutely. The first 2024. We're in the future.
In the year 2000.
Isn't it wild? I mean, when you were, how old were you when you watched Star Wars for the first time?
Oh God, I was like 5.
Okay. So, I mean, talk about weird. I mean, if somebody told you that in the year 2024, you would still be talking about Star Wars, this movie that you're seeing now at 5 years old, is that nuts or what?
That I wouldn't be able to comprehend that. I'd be like, 2024, are there flying cars as well? Are you living on Tatooine? What's going on?
There should be flying cars. What the hell, man?
Yeah. What buggers my mind is I look on Twitter and see like some big fans of Star Wars and they're posting all the time. And I'll look at their age and it'd be like 22.
Oh my God.
I think it's great, but I'm still a little bit like, so you're this huge fan from the sequel trilogy? Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I've been seeing a lot of, let's say, posts and things like that, saying that I'm a lifelong fan since 2017. I'm like, oh man, that hurts. And it's, it's one of those things where, I guess I'm realizing that I probably don't belong on social media anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's not about, it's great that they're fans. I love it. And it's not about gatekeeping it, and they'll get it when they're older and, they're in their 40s and they see people who are like, I loved episode 17. It's my favorite Star Wars ever. And they'll be like, oh, you should have been around when The Last Jedi came out then.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Oh
man. Yeah. I mean, that's funny. And speaking of
when
which,
there was water
on Tatooine, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But, it's funny because we're talking about fans and gatekeeping and stuff like that. And I think the last couple of weeks, that kind of has been a little bit of a hot button issue in the Star Wars fandom Twitterverse.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the topics that one of our followers, Loki Jarson, suggested that we do a quick talk on before we start on our main topic. Who is or isn't allowed to dictate who is or isn't a fan? And obviously we were, kind of playing around tongue in cheek with, my comments of lifelong fans since 2017. And, I'm not going to lie to you. It does bother me a little bit because I think I feel like I put in the work since 1977, damn it.
Well, I do believe there's this feeling that we went through the dark times. We, when Star Wars, everyone was a fan of Star Wars at a certain point, and then after Return of the Jedi, there was far less fandom, and those were the nerds, those who kind of carried that torch, and we were those people. Does that give us the right to be gatekeepers to it? Absolutely not. But I do think there is a little bit of hey, like, we saw some battle. We've been there. We know what it's like. And I just think it's the old age thing of elders versus youth.
Right.
It's impossible to understand both because neither is in that time where they're at that moment.
Sure.
And it's just it's almost impossible to relate. I mean, imagine trying to relate to 17-year-old Ro. Right?
My wife probably would argue with you and say, you know what? It's the same thing. 50-year-old Ro is the same as 17-year-old Ro, and I probably would have to agree with her. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Good point. Fair enough. It is space wizards and laser swords after all.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, when it comes to gatekeeping, I think no one can gatekeep your own fandom. It just,
that's true. I think if you like something, and obviously there are different levels of I don't know, the saturation, different levels of saturation when it comes to fandom. Yes. You've got the aforementioned millennials that discovered Star Wars way back in 2017. And, you got the old fogies like us who have been with the franchise forever. But I mean, there's different levels of what you like. And how you like it, how you came into it. I don't think, I'm going to say something controversial. I think a little gatekeeping is okay because I think it's up to us older guys to kind of usher in the new generation of fandom to, probably the main issue would be to be able to make sure that the franchise continues to live on in perpetuity long after we're gone. I think that is, I want to go out on a limb and say that is our responsibility. We should be able to usher new fans into the fandom to kind of, carry pass the torch per se, proverbial, symbolically and otherwise. But I think when it comes to the black and white of it all, the gatekeeping for the sake of gatekeeping, I think, obviously, there's a little bit of a hubbub right now regarding women in the fandom. And I posted something earlier today that said, I think level-headed fans know that women have been in the fandom of Star Wars since day one. There's really there's no question about it. We knew, obviously we know our guy friends that were Star Wars fans. We were, obviously very surprised when we learned that there were a couple of female fans, and it was really great. So it's to us, I think it's not a question of, wow, there's female Star Wars fans. Of course there's female Star Wars fans. It just, I guess to us older / more sensible fans, it's kind of a non-issue because we've always enjoyed the company of Star Wars female fans. And I don't know where, I mean, I guess I do know where this is being generated at this point, but it's kind of goofy to me.
It's absolutely goofy. When I think about it, I can think of even people I've interviewed on What Does Star Wars Mean to You? Female fans from all generations, and even from as far back as the original Star Wars, A New Hope. What I find, I don't know if frustrating is the right word, annoying, frustrating, whatever, annoystrating, I think is the word, is that that these gatekeepers feel like the need to push someone down in order to rise themselves up.
Yes.
It's not even about like, well, the original trilogy is better than this trilogy or that or whatever. It's more about how can I make an enemy of someone else so that I can smash them down and make myself look big. And that's kind of like the what did I say? Annoystrating part of it.
Right. Sure. Yeah. It's, like I said, I think it's goofy. I think, we each, Star Wars, is a galaxy big enough, for everyone. And, I think, we each, it's such a, Star Wars runs such a huge gamut of elements and things to love. There's a little bit of everything for all of us, and there's a big room in this cargo hold in the Millennium Falcon for fans. And I think if you want to love any aspect of Star Wars, come on by. We'll let you love the Star Wars that you want to love. So yeah, absolutely, I think it's true.
Yeah. And it's also a product of many, many years. So there's many, you said it earlier, many many variations of it to love, from, what is the Young Jedi Adventures, which is a TV-Y show on Disney Plus, all the way to, you know what? I'm only oddly into the High Republic, and that's all I want to fan on. It's like,
wow.
That's totally cool too. And not me, but I'm just as an example.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm actually just started Light of the Jedi, and it took me a little bit to get into it, about 50 pages, which is about average for me to get into a book. But man, I'm about 250 pages in, and it is fantastic.
Cool. Excellent. Glad you're enjoying it. I think when that series came out, I think I read the first 2 books. Wasn't for me, so
yeah, I noticed that in the inscription. It was like, not for Roe, Charles Soule. I was like, God, that's specific, and he knew.
Yeah, he knew it. Wow. So, obviously, I mentioned it at the top of the show, but Happy New Year, Dave.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I wanted to ask you because, I know you've got your podcast, you've got your show. I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell folks, first of all, where people can find you, and what do you concentrate on your show?
So it's What Does Star Wars Mean to You? You can find it wherever you podcast: Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts. Is that what it's called now? Any of those places. And it's just an interview show where I talk to various guests from all walks of life about their fandom of Star Wars and what they love about it, how it has inspired them, and how they see kind of their particular specialty, whether it's voiceover or art or special effects, through how they see Star Wars through that lens. And right now we're a little bit on a hiatus. I'm kind of rebranding the show, not rebranding. I think rethinking the show. I'm going to get a co-host. And we're going to attack the new year and start putting up episodes somewhere in February or March. But for right now, if you want to listen to some great interviews with people like Eddie Pence from The Ralph Report, Vanessa Marshall, who played Hera on Rebels, a lot of the authors like Mike Chen, Adam Lance Garcia, and many others who I'm just completely flaking on right now, and I apologize. I've got a robust catalog, so check it out.
Excellent. Yeah, for sure. So since it is the new year, it's 2024, I wanted to ask you how you or what were some of the things that you were proud of, some of your accomplishments for 2023 on the show?
Oh, wow.
Some notables.
Some notables.
I mean, you're my guest. I'll say that interviewing me was a given, so you can put that off the table.
Yeah, well, I got to meet Ro, which was fantastic, of this podcast, the Scuttlebutt, the Scarif Scuttlebutt, and nothing else compared. No, I was just very proud of getting the show up on its feet in early 2023, maintaining a schedule, a weekly schedule for the show, and getting, I think it was 35 guests over the course of the year. And also really finding different types of people like Matthew Freeman, who writes this, what do you call it? A newsletter called Octu Baby. And it's a very nice short newsletter that's fabulous to read. And he has great positive insights. And I think also kind of honing the show through its as it evolved through the year, to interviewing Vanessa Marshall and Alden Diaz last, and I really felt like I was getting the groove of what the show was.
Cool.
I think that's my biggest accomplishment is kind of the bravery. God, I sound like a fucking but
I wasn't going to say it.
Thank you. The tenacity to keep going and keep going and keep doing it, even though I felt like, what am I doing? Why do I suck so much? Which reminds me of a podcast I was going to start called Why Do I Suck? but I did What Does Star Wars Mean to You instead.
That has a better ring to it.
Yeah, doesn't it? And a natural fan base, like the Why Do I Suck fan base, not that big. But the tenacity to keep going over and over again, reaching out to people. I'm very much an introvert, so reaching out to people is always a little bit of a challenge. And being able to look at it, tinker with it, refine it into something that I'm fairly proud of.
Excellent. And congratulations. I'm looking forward to more shows with you. And obviously, you have an open invite here at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. It's always wonderful talking to you. It's a lot of fun. So congratulations. May you continue with your great success. And I love the show for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I love being on here. I love talking to you because it's a different format. And I get to like come in, be goofy, and then walk away.
Yes. That's funny. All right. Before we start, I want to run a quick little promo. I want to make sure that people know how they can support the channel, and we'll be right back.
Hello.
Hi, this is Sean from Extra Star Wars.
Oh.
And you're listening to the Scarif Scuttlebutt.
Hey friends, just a quick reminder, if you enjoy our content and don't want to commit to a Patreon tier, you can show your love in other ways.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you can take advantage of our merchandise store at TeePublic, where we've got cool designs from all across the Red 5 network. Look for sale announcements and save up to 30 to 35% on all our merchandise.
Oh, nice.
And there's also a very convenient way to help support the channel. As you know, coffee is our friend. It keeps us going. You can show your appreciation by heading over to buymeacoffee.com/Scarif. Buymeacoffee.com/Scarif. Any amount starting at $5, a one-time treat for us to help with all the stuff it takes to maintain the quality you deserve. And remember, it's always sunny on Scarif, and that's the Scuttlebutt. And pass the cream, please. Okay, yeah, buymeacoffee.com. I love coffee, and you should too. But thank you, everybody who has utilized that link to buy me a coffee. It helps me, keep the running waters of Mandalore running here at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. So thank you so much. So I told you at the top of the show, we've got a couple of followers that wanted to contribute regarding some nerdy things that happened in their lives. So I wanted to share a couple of them actually, but one is specific. One of my followers, Damon For You, his handle is the Big Guy 86. I asked, obviously, retweet some top 3 nerdy moments of 2023. And he said, seeing myself in Star Trek Strange New Worlds and the movie Thanksgiving was a pretty amazing moment for me. Obviously, he's an actor. So that's really cool. So that's
a creepy guy who sneaks on set.
Yes, definitely. I think we know a couple of those guys, but yeah, absolutely. So that's pretty cool. Damon, that is really, really nerdy. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's quite of an accomplishment. I mean, like a really big horror movie. And look, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds is just one of the best shows. So being on that is just fantastic. Congratulations, man.
Absolutely. Kudos. And one of our other followers, she's a patron, Belinda. She posted a GIF of Anakin during the Ahsoka show in that cloud of one of the Clone Wars scenes where where Anakin kind of molds or melds into Darth Vader as he's walking towards the camera.
Yes.
With just one word, nerdgasm.
It's the only word you need.
That's the only word you need. So, Belinda, yes, we're right there with you. Clean up in aisle 7.
That's actually I have on my list. Live action Ahsoka meets Anakin.
Yes.
And I just think that's to me, that was one of the best Star Wars moments in a while. And one of the best, just nerd moments of 2023.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, let's get into it. I mean, I mentioned 2 here on from some of our followers, but you mentioned that one. And obviously, I would say it's on my list. But yeah, why don't you go ahead and give us some clues, give us some tidbits on some of your 2023 favorite nerdy moments, because this is good stuff, man.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, first of all, I again, live action Ahsoka and Anakin being together on screen is, I think, the creme de la creme of nerd moments in 2023. My second one, I'm going to say, is Star Trek Subspace Rhapsody. It was the musical episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. I'm a huge fan of musicals, but also of Strange New Worlds. And I think that they did it. It's hard to do a musical episode for a genre series. I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer did it fairly well. And it's almost with Star Trek Strange New Worlds, it was almost the same kind of thing where something was forcing them to sing. And it made sense, and it was wonderful. And then my third one is Loki Becomes the God of Time. I just think the Loki series was a lot of fun, very bizarre, very weird. I may not have caught everything in it, but it felt like such a good resolution to the Loki storyline, and I forget the actor who plays Loki right now, but what is it? 2012 Avengers came out, so he's been playing the character nearly 12 years. Tom
Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. Thank you very much. It was a great resolution.
You know how I remember? Rhymes with Dave Humphreys.
I thought you were going to say it was like the mixed up letter name of He Who Should Not Be Named from Harry Potter.
No,
but I guess that's Tom Riddleston. No, it's Tom Riddle. Anyway, I felt like I needed to autocorrect myself there, so no one called in and was like, "No, it's Tom Riddle." But yeah, Loki becomes the god of time. I think it's such another just really nice geek moment that like I said, wrapped up the storyline of Loki and gave him a good send-off. And you know what? The best part of his send-off is like he could come back in a Marvel film or he doesn't have to. And I feel good about that.
Yeah, absolutely. That the middle of the latest Loki season kind of took me a while to kind of trudge through. I think it was a little too slow or heavy. Slightly convoluted. I think they wasted some time. I think a lot of the shows are kind of doing that because they're stretching. They're stretching the series into something that even like what a 12 episode series could have been like 5 maybe, but they're really stretching it. The end results on that Loki show, I think really paid off. I think they, if they tightened up a little bit, I probably would have liked it a lot better. But it was surprising. It was really great how they, capped off that season. Definitely a nice little nerd moment. And, it's amazing when these actors, take on a role and then really just, go for the gusto and play these roles for a really long time, like Hiddleston has done. And he seems to relish in it. He seems to enjoy the character. He seems to love the fans that love him as Loki. It's apparent when can't remember. I think it was San Diego Comic-Con when he showed up as Loki. Which is, it's a treat for the fans, and it's infectious, and you can tell that everybody's enjoying, that aspect of the fandom for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's, and it's always great when you see an actor who's enjoying doing something that you enjoy as well.
Absolutely. And, you mentioned obviously, the Ahsoka show, you've got moments in that show. It's funny because, with all the hate in the 90s that the prequels brought on, one of the things that I really enjoyed was seeing, Anakin back, seeing Christian Haydenson back as Anakin. I think he was. You can tell that he was enjoying it too. I know there was not a lot of promotion for the show because of the strike during that time, but there have been some, videos and pictures that have been released now after the strike has been over with, where you can really tell that he was really having fun in the role, him and Rosario Dawson and little Ahsoka, which is fantastic. I think they did a great service to the fans to kind of bring them back and have them on screen one more time. I think that's great. Definitely a nice nerd moment for me for sure. And with live action Star Wars, you really, you're never really prepared for what you're going to get. Whether you like a lot of the shows or not, I know, I've had my comments on some of the shows that were not my favorite. Shows like the Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan Kenobi was a little rough, but I'm always interested in looking, watching new Star Wars on the small screen. I think I'm looking forward to The Acolyte. I'm looking forward to the Jude Law one. What's Skeleton Crew? Because again, I'm a Star Wars fan, and if there's something new in Star Wars, I'm definitely going to watch it. Because like I said, it's it's like a box of chocolate. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also like a box of Pringles. Once you start, you just can't stop. Or is that Ruffles?
Could be. No, I think that's Pringles. No, that's Jay's.
Oh, is it really?
We're all wrong.
Oh, well, I'm a fan of Star Wars, not potato chips.
Too much sodium.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's those are some good moments. I think another moment for me, and I was on a stream a couple of nights ago. We were talking about some of our favorite movies in 2023. I didn't get to go to the theater as much as I wanted to in 2023, but I think one of the great experiences for me is going to the theater. I know anybody that listens to the show, I've said this several times. The movie The Creator by Gareth Edwards of Rogue One fame, I think was great to see on the big screen. I think visually it was stunning. I really enjoyed The Creator on a large screen. It was really great. So that is, for me, definitely one of the highlights as far as 2023 goes. Really fun stuff. I love hanging out with friends and having drinks and dinner, and then going to a movie theater and kind of losing yourself in science fiction and fantasy and stuff, all that fun stuff. It's a great release. It's a great experience, and I hope movie theaters stick around for a really long time. I would hate to have that aspect of movies fade away.
I 100% agree with you. The other great thing about Creator is that it was completely original IP. That was a big sci-fi movie, and you just don't see a lot of that anymore. Where so much money is put towards bringing a vision like that to life, and I think that's really great, and one of the powers of the theater too.
What else you got? What else made your list for 2023? What are some of the other geeky moments? Real fast, did you get anything cool as far as collectibles in 2023?
Oh, wow. I don't collect as much as I used to, but I did get like the Luke Skywalker Red 5 helmet in Lego form.
Oh, nice.
And then during Christmas shopping, I got myself a Hondo figure, because Hondo was one of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars. He was just, he's that con man, always, and he was in the Clone Wars, wasn't he? He was also in Rebels.
Yeah. Is he up there on your shelf? I don't think I've seen one out in the wild.
Yeah, hold on, let me see. Here he is.
Huh.
Let me see. Where's the TV?
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that.
It's what is that? The vintage collection, which is my favorite collection. Here's a big one. I got this for my birthday. This is a little bragging. This is this is a humble brag. So this is a 2019. Who does this? Let me look at this.
Gentle
Giant
yes.
bust of Hera, signed by Vanessa.
Oh my God.
So she sent it up to me for my birthday, and
holy
I thought
smokes,
that was fantastic.
Wow, you guys are like that, huh? She sends you stuff for your birthday? Damn.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
So yeah, this is like the Hera bust is one of my favorite things.
Yeah, it's beautiful
that I got this. This is probably the best collectible I got this year. Probably the best collectible I got in the past 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's nice. Gentle Giant does some really great sculptures. I've got a couple of, I've got a Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, a Short Trooper, because I'm all about the Empire. You know that.
Yes.
That's awesome. Some of the things that I bought for myself, I kind of looked at it and I'm like, you know what? One of my followers would really enjoy this. So I ended up, like, half of the stuff I bought for myself, I ended up turning it around and then just sending it out to some of our wonderful supporters and listeners here on the Scuttlebutt podcast. I was doing some returns at Ross's, and I found a Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yes, I saw that.
Black Series figure on the the vintage looking card back, and I was gonna hold on to it, but I'm like, you know what? Let's give it away. So it's nice when you find some cool stuff and then you think, you know what? I think one of my followers would enjoy that. So yeah, absolutely, it's really cool.
You're like Geeka Claus. Is that Geeka Claus? I think that Santa Geek. Oh, Santa Geek. You're like Santa Geek.
I think I like Geeka Claus better. It's more
Geeka Claus. Yeah.
It's a little more odd.
Yeah.
And uncomfortable saying it.
What was your big collectible of 2023?
Yeah, like I said, so
it's still funny because the people can't see this, but we both like turn around and
looking around our stuff.
And we're like, what is?
I can't remember if Brad got this for me this year or last year, but I'll pull it out anyways because it's so cool. I think he got it for me early this year. Maybe it was late last year. It's a custom Darth Vader figure, except it's got my head on it.
That's fantastic. That's awesome.
Look at that. And the size of the head and the cheeks are pretty spot on, proportional to the body. At least that's what my wife would say, but it's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is fun. Those kind of things are just kind of priceless.
There's another small collectible that, I love going to thrift stores because I find a lot of wonderful items. There's a droid that I found. And if you look up this droid, it's actually Ro.
That's great.
Yeah. So look up next time you're in front of your computer, not podcasting, just look up the droid Ro astromech, and then this guy pops up. It's so funny.
Oh,
hilarious. So I'm a droid.
You're a droid. You are Star Wars canon.
Let's take a short break. I want to play a couple of things and remind folks where people can find us, and we'll be right back.
Boop, boop. I don't know why I did the boop boop.
I'm gonna keep it in.
Hello, kids and cadets. It's Tim from the FSF Podcast, and you are listening to the Scarif Podcast. And that, my friends, is the Scuttlebutt.
All right, folks, I wanted to take a little break and say thank you to all the patrons here at the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. You all remind me to make sure that we spit out some good product here, from topics to technical. We want to make sure that you are proud of us enough to attach your name to this show. First of all, our executor tier, Scott and Kim of the Use and Abuse podcast, a proud member of the Red 5 family. And make sure to check them out. Visit them in the chat when they go live for fun and shenanigans. And speaking of shenanigans, another wonderful supporter, Nicholas Schaefer, Mr. Backyard TARDIS himself. Hey, he's got a channel, Adventures in Locksmithing, and if you think rekeying is all he does, well, you should watch a few of his videos and prepare yourself for the crazies. All right, and moving on to our Garrison tier. Big thanks to the Frank, our resident Back to the Future expert. Log in and say hello. What's up, Frank? Melanie Marquita, big high five to you, my friend. One of my favorite collaborators. We got Comics and Cosmetics. Danny, her YouTube channel's got the latest nerd news and some awesome tips on comics and cosmetics. Go give her a sub. All right, big shout outs to Alex, the salty nerd himself, Nicole, peace, love, and all fandoms, and someone who brings joy to my timeline, Belinda. So glad you're on this list. I also want to give a special shout out to Vader Rapina and Rennie, and of course, Ollie and family. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you, patrons and friends of the podcast. If you're interested in helping to keep the lights on here, get some exclusive Scarif swag, stickers, and my periodic Row Rant episodes, head on over to patreon.com/Scarif Scuttlebutt. Remember, we can't have the scuttle without the butt. Okay, folks, we are back here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Happy 2024. It is a new year, and you've got a new show here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. I'm sitting here with Dave from What Does Star Wars Mean to You? Welcome back, Dave. Welcome anytime, actually. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year, everybody. It is, 2024. Can you believe we made it?
We made it. We made it to 2024. Yeah. What we made it to, I'm not sure. That is still yet to be decided, determined. Something is on the horizon. It kind of looks like moving camels, like AT-ATs or something coming towards us. So I don't know. Take cover, everyone.
A strange dust storm on the horizon.
Yeah. Wow, that we got dark all of a sudden.
I know. I think it's a little hard not to get dark, for me at least. It's, you just kind of like look, and I'm the person who believes Stephen King's under the bed with a knife.
Oh, God. Hold on. I got to look now.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, that's too funny. I want to remind everybody that we do have a Sentry mode that we recorded back in 2023. Rural Farm Boy came on, and I asked him a series of 5 questions, and we'll play it a little later on, and you guys have to see how he did. I know we've been having a lot of fun with Sentry mode, and Dave, we got to have you back on a quick Q&A on Sentry mode, and we'll test your Star Wars knowledge. How about that?
Oh, it's going to be horrific. I think I'm wise with Star Wars knowledge. I may not be smart with Star Wars knowledge.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Excellent. All right. So we are talking about 2023's top 5. What is it? Top 5 or top 3? What did we
top? Well, we said top 3, and I kind of burned through 3 already. So
yeah. So just
let's do top 5.
Yeah, our top moments, our top nerdy moments of 2023, and there have been a couple of them. Obviously, we've been talking about it. Movies, streaming, collectibles, all sorts of wonderful things. We even talked a little bit about gatekeeping at the top of the episode.
Yes.
So what else have you seen that gave you some top nerdy moments on the big screen? Did you get to go to the movies a lot this last year? I mean,
I went, actually the most I have gone in a couple of years.
Oh, wow.
This year, just the pandemic, and then just being a person who likes the inside of their own house, hard to get to the theaters. but Spider-Man, into the Spider-Verse, across the Spider-Verse.
I know, it's so confusing, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't keep them together. It's kind of like the Homecoming series, like Homecoming, No Way Home, Far From Home. I get mixed up on which one, but Spider-Man 2, Oh, seeing that in the theaters was spectacular. And Godzilla -1 kind of came out of nowhere and blew my mind.
Sure.
And I'm so glad I went to see that in the theaters. It first of all, you feel the absolute terror that Godzilla could instill if he were real. You also get the very deep psychological trauma of the nuclear attacks on Japan and how that resonates through history. You get a very personal, human, on the ground story that really kind of stood out. And and I'm not like a huge I'm a mild Godzilla fan, but I haven't seen them all for sure. But this one just really, I gotta say, the terror that Godzilla strikes in those people and you as a viewer watching it, because you're never on Godzilla's level. You're always below him the whole movie. And it is horrifying.
That that would definitely play kind of psychological tricks on you, being on underneath, lower than him. I mean, Godzilla, obviously a character larger than life, no pun intended. Well, maybe I guess it is intended, but it's did we hear, and I haven't gotten the chance to go see it in the theater. Two things. Do you hear the iconic Godzilla yell?
Oh, I believe you do, but I don't remember specifically. But you must. You must. And I think I read online that you do. It just, I don't know. I was shaking in my boots too much to really. I was hiding. I spent a lot of the time with my hands over my eyes.
and second, why do they call it -1? Is he doing some math, the newfangled math in the movie? What's going on there?
Well, I think what it is, and here's the thing, Ro. I'm afraid that I dream most of my facts and then believe I've read them on the internet.
That's what I do.
But I feel like it was explained maybe in an early trailer or teaser trailer that at the end of World War II, Japan was at 0. And then Godzilla shows up. So it makes it like now they're at -1.
Huh. Okay. Almost like a DEFCON 1, 2, 3 type of scenario. Yes.
Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. All right. I did not know that. That's very cool.
It's reverse DEFCON.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I'll once I hope I get a chance to see it on the big screen before it leaves, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. All right, I've got one more planned geek moment that when I saw this, I was like over the moon. And the actress that played young Ahsoka, Ariana Greenblatt.
Yeah.
So obviously everybody was on strike. Nobody posted anything regarding the shows that they were on. But once that strike was over, the floodgates opened, and we got a lot of really cool images and posts from some of the actors in our shows. She had posted something on November 14th. It's a picture of her in the Ahsoka costume with Rosario Dawson back to back. And she named me specifically.
Really?
For Ro, for Dave, and for the fans. Hashtag Tano Tuesday and hashtag Ahsoka Lives. I screenshot that. And I thanked her for thinking of me during the production of the Ahsoka show. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I was geeking out.
I would too. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Look it up. November 14th.
It's right there.
It's right there. I'll show it to you. 4 Row. Look at that. 4 Row. Wonderful, wonderful things. Really surprised. I'm so glad that she singled me out during the production of the Ahsoka show. It's a wonderful, wonderful surprise.
It's I mean, it's an honor, really.
It really is. It's an honor to be mentioned like that. I mean, you know, when the author did it, you said you were reading the High Republic books. I mean, there's a bad guy on there called Marcion Rowe. It's wonderful to be included. I mean, you said I was canon, so this just solidifies it all.
This is like you're all over the Star Wars universe.
I certainly am. Oh man, absolutely. So yes, obviously, you know, she was talking about Rosario Dawson. I guess they call her Ro, but it's wonderful because you know, I share something with Ahsoka. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good. Your name comes up in Star Wars a lot this year. That's a really good run of things. It's that tweet, Marcion Rowe, and of course the astromech droid.
Yes, that's right. Holy smokes!
Everything's pushing you towards the next Star Wars movie being in it.
Absolutely. You know what? And I was going to change my name to Jackson or some bullshit, but I think I'm gonna stay Rowe.
I think that's what the universe is telling you to do.
Yes, absolutely.
Really.
Absolutely. Oh man, too funny. All right. Do you have any other cool geeky moments for 2023?
I think I have one kind of geeky. I think this would be an honorable mention one. But it's Barbenheimer.
Yes.
How that caught the world's imagination, or at least the state's imagination, and really propelled both of those movies into the pop culture zeitgeist in a big way, in a way we haven't seen in years, since maybe The Force Awakens premiered, where everyone was aware of it. And I don't know if it's particularly a geeky moment, but it's a huge pop culture moment. And I think the geek world is very much an umbrella over pop culture. And so I feel like we have to mention it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. It took the world by storm. I think the studios kind of... it must have surprised them too, and I think that kind of also shows you the power of social media, the ability to, you know, take something so silly as to take these, you know, extremely different movies and meld them together into a marketing campaign. I think it did well for both movies. I mean, you know, you can see that some people went from, you know, watching Barbie to watching Oppenheimer. So I think it did very well. I think, you know, that little marketing gimmick, I think it's something that the studios might want to, you know, take a look at in the future, especially in 2024. We're getting some, you know, hopefully some new movies, and it's great to be able to kind of, you know, have fun with that by creating, you know, something as viral. You know, kind of naturally, I guess. It started naturally. It started kind of as a hashtag, a little joke, but, you know, people on social media and the studios kind of ran with it. And it was a kind of a win-win situation for nerds and Barbie fans and fans of the atomic bomb everywhere. Are there fans of the atomic bomb? I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't like... I mean, no. Sorry.
Not. Okay.
I know you're supposed to but I do like how we did start with social media, and then at the end brought it right back to social media. Started off negative, and then here's a positive of social media.
Yeah, Absolutely. Yeah, that's too funny. Before we cut out, I definitely want to make sure that you stick around for Rural Farm Boys Century Mode.
Yes.
But before we do that, I've got one Century Mode question for you, my friend. You ready for it?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Okay. What type of dog was the inspiration for Chewbacca, according to George Lucas?
God, it was. I don't know the name of it's one of those big, hairy English something dogs. What are they called? Oh, I don't know what the breed is, but it's a massive. I think a friend of mine had one. It's like what? You know what? It's kind of like that dog who is on the Muppets. Not Ralph, but okay. Wait. What's the one on Apple? The Muppets who live underground. They have the doozers. Fraggle Rock. Yeah. You know that dog? Wasn't it that type of dog?
I don't remember. I'll have to look that up.
Oh, I don't. I think English though is in the name. What is it?
An Alaskan Malamute.
Oh no, then I'm totally wrong. Wow, an Alaskan Malamute. I thought it was something like they're not very hairy, are they? They're not like
the Alaskan Malamute. Yeah, because they live in Alaska and it's cold up there, so they.
Yeah, good point.
What's wrong with you, Dave?
But I do know he was in the back seat of a car, and the dog was in the front seat, and the driver was in the front seat.
Okay.
And the dog was sitting up and looking, and they were both looking out, and he was like, "Huh, that could be a co-pilot."
Yes, absolutely. Bonus question. What was the name of George Lucas's dog?
Was it Indiana?
Yes, sir, it was.
Wow, I pulled that out of some dark reaches of my brain.
Excellent.
We named the dog Indiana.
They're right. That's right. All right, Century Mode. We got a new Century Mode coming up, which we recorded last year. That sounds so weird. With our friend and yours, Mr. Rural Farm Boy. Check it out. Let's see how he does.
This is Century Mode.
Okay, folks, you heard that jingle. It's time for Century Mode. And what we usually do for Century Mode, we bring in a friend, we ask 5 questions, and we have fun. And this time, we've got the one, the only Rural Farm Boy to join me on this edition of Century Mode. RFR, what's up?
Howdy do, Ro.
What did I call you? RFR. We were just talking about Rebel Force Radio, and I mixed the initials. RFB is what I meant to say.
I've heard it said a time or two is RBF. It happens to all of us.
It happens. We're all a little dysfunctional and dyslexic, but thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Century Mode. Are you ready for 5 questions?
Oh, I am so looking forward to this.
So, I just, I told you before we started recording, I just got off with Cam Ray. Last week we had Cam on Century Mode. This week we've got you. And throughout this little series here, I'm always not familiar with everyone's expertise and everyone's level of knowledge. But knowing you from your Twitterverse and all your online Star Wars shenanigans, I think you're pretty up there. So please forgive me as far as how deep I'm going to go, and I hope you enjoy this.
I'm going to treat these as though they're trivia.
Excellent. All right. Question number 1. What is the name of the toy company responsible for the original Star Wars action figure line?
That would be Kenner.
And that would be correct. For a second there, I thought your screen froze, and I'm like, uh-oh, did I break him already? All right, here we go. Question number 2. What is the name of Carrie Fisher's dog?
Sort of rhymes with her. Gary.
That is correct. Gary, the little French bulldog. I felt so bad for Gary when Carrie passed away.
A good many of us did. Yeah.
So sad, so sad. Okay, question number 3. Let's bring it up a notch. In Caravan of Courage, what is the full name, first and last, of the little girl, Mace's sister?
Mace's sister was named Sindel Tawani.
That is correct. A bonus if you can name the actress's name.
Ooh, I know I had it. And yeah, that's a deep, deep one. I know it's stuck back in the back, one or other left or right corner in my brain, and I ain't able to pick it out.
I know it's in there as well. We can get back to that if you want. Are you ready for question number 4?
I'll put it off to the side, yeah.
Put it off to the side. All right, question number 4. Which ILM employee was responsible for pitching the story of Rogue One?
That would be the one and only John Knoll.
That is correct. Him and his brother responsible for all the wonderful Photoshop and all the stuff that we do with that piece of software.
And if I can figure, I still can't figure out how the heck to use Photoshop.
Oh, man. Tutorials are wonderful sometimes, so check them out. All right, question number 5, Sentry Mode. In the 80s, during the height of Boba Fett mania, what were one of the things strapped to Boba Fett's utility bandolier as trophies?
I'm wondering if it's more located along his right shoulder.
It could be, yes. I was trying to figure out, like, what is that called? And obviously I'm not a military man. I know there's a certain name for that area or that.
Okay, that would be his right shoulder bell. Most folks refer to them padding, and I'm usually speaking back to folks talking to me from the past when I say there ain't no padding involved. It's a shoulder bell or a pauldron.
Correct, yes.
Would be either, I want to say they're braided Wookiee pelts.
That is correct. Braided Wookiee pelts for the win. And like I said, I was pretty sure that that your Star Wars knowledge goes deep, been a Star Wars fan since you were a young lad. So yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to that bonus question.
Yeah, it's stirring around in there, and I'm gonna have to concede on that one. It's not coming. It ain't coming out.
And I know, I think a couple of months ago, people were talking about Caravan of Courage and posting, names and things like that. Sindel Tawani was portrayed by the wonderful Aubrey Miller.
That's it.
And I know absolutely that you knew it. It's just stuck behind, a couple of Star Destroyers and blasters, DL-44s back there. I'm sure if you dig it out, you probably would have found it.
Yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, I knew it, and it was stuck in there.
Excellent. Thank you, my friend, for joining me on this edition of Sentry Mode here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Why don't you tell folks where people can find you to say hello there?
Folks can find me in the Star Wars Twitterverse, or maybe what's left of it. No, it's still there in some shape, fashion, or form. Usually sharing out all the friends' pods that I'm listening to. On my workday, I group them up because I don't have internet connection to do them in the way that I favor most when I get home, which is show by show. And you find me in the Twitterverse at A-Roll Farmboy.
Excellent. Why don't you remind folks you are on with Jeff as well?
Yepers. Back in June, he had put up, for whichever reason in the Twitterverse, that he had kind of wished he had a co-host. And Jeff lives across the state of Pennsylvania from me. I'm in the West. He's in the East. And I said, we've been longtime pod friends. I've been, years ago, I was on with him. And then he and I were on with Pat and Charles of Conversations, and I said, Jeff, I'll sit beside you. And he said, why? It was plainly obvious. Why didn't I see it? So every Saturday, we're kind of matching up what I do with my podcast playlist now, with it being we're in this big wide open desert of nothing for Star Wars for at least another year and a half. So we're going and kind of copying what I'm doing, going way back to, we are now in December of 2020, season 2 of The Mandalorian, going chapter by chapter.
Rural Farm Boy on Sentry Mode. Thank you, sir, so much. We'll see you out there in the Twitterverse. I'm going to head on out. We will continue this discussion that we have on this the rest of this episode. But in the meantime, I'm going to hop in my Tantive 4. I'll talk to you later. Woo! All right, folks. I want to do a big shout out to Rural Farm Boy, but also a big shout out to all the people that have joined me on Sentry Mode in the last couple of months. Had a lot of fun. If you guys are interested, anybody listening and is interested in joining me on a Sentry Mode Q&A segment, why don't you hit me up on the DMs or send me a message. Give us a call on our Scarif Scuttlebutt hotline, 773-234-8659, and let us know. Let us know what you like about the show. Let us know what shows or what episodes you liked from last year, and we'll read your comments or play your comments on a future show. So thank you, everyone, from our patrons to our co-hosts to our guests. We have been having fun here. 2024 is our 5th year of podcasting, and we are enjoying it. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We are definitely enjoying kind of geeking out. We're looking forward to having some new 2024 geek moments. So next January, we'll have you back on, Dave. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And it's such a pleasure doing the show. You're so much fun. And it's, like I said, it's fun to come on here and... God damn it, I'm about to say have fun. And now I've used fun 3 times.
That's okay.
But it is really, it's always a delight talking to you, Ro. And I love your energy. I love your support of everyone and how you've really built a community here. It's fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that, my friend. You know, it's we're all in it together. I know it sounds a little corny, but, you know, we're all doing this to have fun. Oh, there you go again.
Yep.
We're all, you know, we're all doing this to have a delightful time, but we really are, you know, just enjoying our time here on the interwebs, talking nerd stuff. And yeah, absolutely. My pleasure. It really is a fantastic thing to be able to kind of, you know, share the joy of all the geeky stuff that we really love to watch and talk about, and doing that on a platform that that you know people have the ability to listen and share and comment. So thank you for being part of that, by the way.
Oh no, thank you. If you want more of me, you can listen to What Does Star Wars Mean to You? It's anywhere you podcast, Apple Podcast, Amazon, Spotify, Google, all those places. If you're listening to this now, probably can find that What Does Star Wars Mean to You? And you can comment or reach out to me on Twitter at Star Wars Mean to You. That's Star Wars Mean, the number 2 and the letter U. Star Wars Mean to You. And that's all across social, whether it's Facebook, Instagram. I've got to get this pattern down, man. You've got it down, and I really love listening to you do it. But yeah, Star Wars Mean to You. Look it up.
Look it up.
Join me if you want.
Look it up. But absolutely, thank you, my friend. I you know, if you're listening, I really urge you guys to give Dave a follow and listen to some of his shows.
Thank you.
It's really fantastic. It's wonderful to hear other people's Star Wars stories, and you know, that's why we're here, anyways, to begin with. So I want to give you guys a quick little tease. I'm not sure if it's going to be next week or the following week, but one of our followers challenged me to do a complete show talking about the sequel trilogy. And at first,
That's fun.
yeah, pray for me. At first, I was a little resistant because obviously, you know, when you don't like something, you just don't talk about it. But I accepted her challenge. We're going to be Semper Fi. Danny and I are going to sit down and talk about the sequel trilogy. Let's see how that goes. But it should be a wonderful discussion. Semper Fi. Danny is a wonderful account. If you guys don't know her, she pops up in our streams from time to time, and it's really great to kind of have discussions without fear of you know, yelling at other people or being yelled at for making or whatever. So it's you know, again, as corny as it sounds, this is your safe space to love Star Wars the way you love Star Wars. So thank you again for allowing me to be in your ears every week and do our shows and all that wonderful stuff. So thank you very much. If you guys are interested in the rest of the Red 5 network, we've got a plethora, I love that word, a plethora of other content creators. Just look us up. I'll give you two places to look. You can go to bio.link/Red5 and check out the rest of the Red 5 network, or you can go to thered5network.com to be able to kind of scope out the rest of the shows. We've got other podcasts talking about other things. And some YouTube folks and podcast folks, but a wonderful bunch of great creators that take a lot of time and love what they do. And you can definitely tell that my brothers and sisters of the Red 5 Network just have a passion for talking geek stuff. So please look them up. And if you do get a chance to go over to the website or the bio link, let me know what you find. Let me know who you latched onto, and I would love to let them know. But please, whether it's a Red 5 Network or not, whether it's Dave's show or not, please make sure that you support the shows that you love to download wherever it is that you download your other favorite podcasts. Until next time, this is Ro from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. And Dave, thank you very much again. You have an open invite here on the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. And that's the Scuttlebutt. Happy New Year. That's creepy.
I'm answering questions. Answering questions. That's the background music. Just put that on a loop. You'll get 1,000 shutoffs. It'd be like
you never know.
Obi-Wan Kenobi will be like, that's the sound of 1 million people turning off their podcasts at once.
You never know what pops up on a future episode of the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast.
I'm answering questions. Answering questions.
Hey, Star Wars fans and friends of the podcast, don't forget to leave the guys a voicemail for a chance to be included in the discussion. Let them know what's on your mind. Call 773-234-8659, and that's the Scuttlebutt.